Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Thursday's Theology. My name is Pastor Jeff. I'm your host, and welcome to Christ and Quarantine volume / chapter / issue / episode 2. I don't really know what I'm going to call it, but we are in the second episode of Christ and Quarantine, and today I am so stoked to welcome my friend George McQuillister. He and I worked together in youth ministry at the previous church I worked at before moving down to Santa Barbara, and lots of great memories with this dude. I'm really stoked to have him here. So George, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. So I was just telling George before we started filming that I spent a very long time curating this background. I'm playing with lights and stuff like that. So I guess I'm trying to look more legit. I don't know. But we got to talking about my pagan shrine back here to the Oakland Athletics. And I was reminded that one of the things that is very unique about George and my relationship is that I'm a diehard A's fan and George is a diehard San Francisco Giants fan. So just so everybody is aware, it is possible to be in relationship with people you disagree with. So yeah, George, you said you had a story for us about A's and Giants. So
oh yeah. So one night we were going to a A's Giants game, and me and Jeff decided that we were going to take two of these brothers, Bartek and Sebastian. And so, me being a diehard Giants fan, I dress up from head to toe. I have my Giant socks on. I have my headband. I have my hat. I got my jersey. And before we go to pick them up, we had to go to Jeff's house at the time and to pick up the tickets. So we go to his house, and I meet his grandmother for the first time. Mm-hmm. And the first thing she says to me or asks me is, "Oh, you're a Giants fan?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm a Giants fan. Yeah, And she was like, "Oh, what a loser," and just walks away. It was the first time me meeting her. I think that was the only time of me meeting her. I was like, what just happened? Like, I was trying to catch up and everything. And then here comes Jeff down the stairs. "Oh, you ready to go?" I'm like, "Grandma just called me a loser for being a Giants fan." Without hesitation, he just starts laughing. So I think that's one of the best memories that I've had working with you, because like that's just like a summarization of our friendship. Like,
yeah,
anyone in your family, like I'm pretty sure your uncle has like dug on me about being a Giants fan, and like it's like I can't say Giants in their household without like getting beat up. So
right.
It's a joy to be there.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. I think our relationship can be summarized pretty well in that story.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really appreciate about my relationship with George is I've been living in Santa Barbara for 3 years now. And every time that, well, of course, before COVID, there was once life before COVID. But before COVID and everything, whenever we would go back to the Bay Area, we would always, make sure that we made time to hang out with one another. And correct me if I'm wrong, but our go-to gathering spot was the Kona Club, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
the Kona Club.
Shout out to the Kona Club, Piedmont Avenue. Great. It's a dump. It's such a dump, but it's a great tiki bar. So yeah, I guess shout out to the Kona Club. So George, something that we started in this series is we've been calling it Christ and Quarantine, and basically what we've been revolving around is this question of what is it that you're learning in this time of quarantine? What is it that God is teaching you in this time of quarantine? So I'm going to pass the question off to you. What has God been teaching you during this season?
I think there's a big emphasis on patience, just because the whole shelter in place has basically shut everyone's life down. Like, you can't go to the places you normally go to on like a Tuesday afternoon. So you kind of have to fill that with, other things that you have to do or that you can do at your house. But yeah, patience, because there's so many things that, I had on my schedule during the summer or, you know, in the upcoming fall that, you know, I can't do. And I just have to recenter myself around Christ and remind myself that, you know, this is in his plan. You know, it's not, he's doing this for a reason, even though, you know, it may suck. Like, he's doing it for a specific reason. And that's what I always have to, I'm seeing, like, you know, I watch the news with my mom every now and then, and I see, like, you know, the death count rise and everything. And, you know, it's all in his plan. You just have to, you know, keep on trusting him. But going back to patience is, like, you know, this week I was supposed to be down in San Diego for Comic-Con. Like, that's one of the big things that I look forward to. Me and my friends look forward to. That's like our one vacation a year that we get. And just like that, I got taken away. And granted, back in April or March when this whole thing started, like, we were just, like, you know, thinking about it, and we were talking like, that's going to be over by July. Like, we won't have to worry about it. But, you know, things happen, and, you know, plans change, and, you know, I just have to be patient with everyone that's not wearing a mask. But you know, patience is one of the biggest things that, you know, God has and will continue to teach me through quarantine. And, you know, when this thing's over, like, you know, you're gonna have to have patience no matter what. So
yeah. And I agree with you, man. Like, one of the tough things about this season is that I agree that patience is something that we all need to learn, like, eventually. Like, that's something that, if you are going to live any sort of contented life, you have to learn how to be patient, right?
Yeah.
But is it bad to say that, like, this is not the circumstances that I wanted to learn patience?
Exactly. And I think with that being said, like, this is, on top of it, one of the main reasons, like, this is one of the circumstances where you need to learn it the most at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I said, like, your life's just shut down, and, like, what are you going to do? The next question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to be home, lazy, not do anything about it, or just still be productive in your life, in your own lifestyle? So, I mean, and granted, it's not easy. Of course it's not easy, but, you know, you're just going to have to pick up a rhythm and pick up a pace where you can, you know, get into that groove. So,
yeah. And I totally hear you too on just the disappointment that the season has brought. Because I mean, for you, I know that Comic-Con is, like, a huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, you see me wearing my Captain America shirt.
Hey,
so
there you go.
that's why I wore it.
Best character in the MCU. So yeah, no, I hear you on that. Because, like, for you, it's Comic-Con, and then I've shared with people before that for me it's like ordination. Like, I was supposed to have been ordained at the end of last month, and I thought, I held out hope that, like you were saying, I was hoping that, like, maybe it'll be done by May. Like, maybe we can, like, still do stuff during the summer. But then I got the word, like, yeah, we're not gonna do it. You're gonna have to wait for 2021. So it's just been a rough season to learn patience. But I think I hear what you're saying, where what better time to learn patience than when you're forced to, you know?
Yeah.
I think as much as we talk about, like, oh yeah, we need to learn patience, like, I doubt any of us are just like, you know what, I'm gonna actively learn patience, you know?
This opportunity or this situation forces us to, you know, try to learn patience as much as we can. So
I hear you, man. And actually that's a good thing too, because for those of you who follow our Instagram at Thursday's Theology, George has often been a contributor to that Instagram feed with some of his comics and some of his thoughts. In fact, George, while I find it, I'm gonna ask you, why, in your opinion, is Batman your favorite character?
Oh man. Batman is my favorite character, specifically because he is, I don't know. I mean, because he's Batman, Jeff. Like, how like, you don't need to, like, explain. Like, he's wealthy enough to like buy all of his gadgets and everything. And the thing that like, you know, reading Batman comics throughout the years and seeing the movies, live action movies, cartoons, you know, watching the animated series when I was, you know, when we were kids, the thing that stuck out to me, and I think kind of resonates with everyone, is his moral compass about, you know, not being, not killing anyone. Even though in, you know, Batman v Superman and Justice League, you see him killing people, like that's why I don't like those movies, because it's not a great depiction. Anyway,
well, that's not the only reason. Not to like those movies.
No, that's my main reason. I don't care about anything else.
All right,
So,
all right.
but it's just his morality about, you know, not killing no matter what. And the fact that, you know, at first he didn't want to be a mentor. He just wanted one Robin. Then, of course, Dick Grayson leaves and becomes his own superhero. But at the same time, like, even though Nightwing is Nightwing and Batman's Batman, Nightwing's still learning from Batman. He's still learning, you know, he's still, Batman's still being a mentor towards him. And, like, if you look at the comics now, like, he has a whole, like, small army of people who are Bat people. So, but like, he's Batman. Like, I can't explain. Like,
like how,
costume, he has a cool car. Like, like his best friend Superman. So it's like, if anyone tries to beat him up, then Superman's gonna. I mean, he's beaten Superman. So
yeah.
You know, now, and he's never died, quote unquote.
Sure.
I mean, he's gone back in the past, but he's never died.
Now here is the perennial question of Batman fans, and I want to ask you, by the way, this could be a whole series unto itself. Like, we could just talk about like Batman.
I mean, I have my comics right here just in case this came up. So
nice, you came prepared.
Yeah,
awesome.
I came with Hush, you know,
nice.
Batman City Vowels, Court of Owls, and I also got Arkham Asylum. But
dude, that is so funny, because the comic that I grabbed that I wanted to show off, because for those of you who don't know, I started reading comics in the Marvel universe, so that's what I'm accustomed to. I started especially with Captain America, then I went to Iron Man, and then I've you know, branched out since then. So when it came to the DC universe, I had no idea where to start. I knew that there were a lot of Batman and Superman comics, but I just had no clue where to start. So I reached out to George, because he is, honestly, dude, you're probably more like knowledgeable about comic books than I am. Like, that's I mean, yeah, because you've been at it much longer than I have. So when I wanted to break into the DC universe, I asked George, like, okay, what do you suggest? And one of the very first ones he suggested was Batman Court of Owls. And I didn't realize this is I don't know if you can see that, but it's book number 1, right? So I didn't realize this at the time. But this particular arc, the Court of Owls series, is 10 of these books. So I kept reading, and every time I found out that there was another one, I would text George. I'm just like, man, what did you get me into here? But it's a fantastic arc. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, just fantastic team for the Batman series. But anyway, getting back to the question I have for you. So the question that always comes up with Batman is, can you qualify Batman as a superhero?
Oh gosh. Does he save people? That's going to be my next question to whoever asked me. So I'm trying not to be biased, because I mean, I'm really like trying to look at it in the middle instead of just all the way Batman. But I mean, when you look at it, like, Batman's a normal human being. He goes up against Darkseid, you know, I'm sure he's gone up against Medusa. I'm naming like all these Greek gods. But he's gone up against aliens, like extraterrestrial beings from different planets, who should honestly just wipe his face on the ground. Like, they should just like annihilate him, right? But he's always come up on top. That's why I classify him as a superhero, because not only, you know, he's taking on all these Big Eyes Brainiac, Dark Side, I can't Killer Croc, like all these big, like physically and just in general huge guys,
Mm-hmm.
and he's taking them down one by one, whether it's with the Justice League or by himself or with the Robin or whatever.
Right.
Like he's always come out on top. So he's a great tacticianer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a skilled martial artist. He knows over, I think, 125 different martial arts.
The world's greatest detective. I mean,
the world's great. Yeah,
that's how he started Detective Comics, right?
like it's crazy. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
I would definitely. I don't know how to answer that question other than like he's Batman, Jeff.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, that's fair.
you can't stop him. Like he's beaten the greatest person on the face of the earth, who is Superman.
Sure.
I guess Superman, but
So okay, here's a controversial question for you. Is it fair to compare Batman in the DC universe to Iron Man in the Marvel universe?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because I mean, I guess Iron Man he's a carbon copy of Batman, and Batman's a carbon copy of him. But it's hard. It's a hard question to answer because both of them are millionaires or billionaires, and they dedicated their lives to protecting those who can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
So,
and I do have to say this though, like if you're comparing them on a similar playing field, yes, the money, yes, the prestige, yes, all that, I agree. But I keep falling back to the fact that if I had to choose between the two, I actually would go Batman versus Iron Man, simply because Batman seems from the very beginning to have a moral compass, and Iron Man like kind of finds it along the way. Because like I know that Stan Lee said that the whole point of him creating Iron Man was so that he would create a hero that everybody would hate, but be forced to actually like love.
Yeah. And you can see it in the movies because you saw an Iron Man one where he was very full of himself. He was very selfish in a way, and then, like you said, he learns to become that good person and eventually Iron Man and superhero. But in terms of Batman, I think he started off with that because he saw his parents die, and he was just trying to be. I feel like with Batman, like his childhood ended very quickly. With and just not in comics, but like it happens in real life when you see kids lose their parents. Like they have to grow up fast because they don't have a father figure or a mother to help them grow. So they have to grow up very fast. But with Batman, lost his parents when he was young. Alfred came in and helped him, and he became a different person. And so I think in his mind, he needs to be. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now.
No, and I think it's a good point too, because like
yeah,
I noticed later on too that that's one of his biggest hesitations when he takes on different Robins, where he's just like, I don't want to put these kids in a similar position that I was in, where because like he's basically a father figure to him. So like he doesn't want, like, part of the reason why he's so like brooding and dark and stuff like that is because he doesn't want to hurt his apprentices, his disciples, essentially, the way that he was traumatized.
Yeah, and it's funny because he didn't want Dick Grayson to be his sidekick at first, but he had to show him that he could take it on. And then when he took on Jason Todd and he died from Joker, that's when he was like, I don't know about the whole Robin thing anymore. I don't want any more. I don't want to see any more innocent kids die. But then again, Jason Todd was he was kind of jerk to
Yeah.
everyone and everything. So, uh,
Something you said earlier, which is so fascinating about Batman in general, is you see the Joker and how he will manipulate Batman and
mm,
take out Batman's allies, because he doesn't have the same qualms of killing people that
yeah,
Batman has. So
yeah,
it's really fascinating to see those two ideologies clash, because on the one hand you have Batman who refuses to kill, and then on the other hand you have the Joker who has no problem killing. I mean, that was kind of the tension in what was it Dark Knight, the movie, where
yeah, with
Batman
Heath
catches the
Ledger.
Joker. Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he was just like, there's a ferry filled with criminals and a ferry filled with like regular people. Like, which one are you gonna let die? You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's fascinating to see those two ideologies clash, because like Batman, it would be so simple for him to like just straight up just take the Joker out and like rid himself of that, but like because
yeah,
of his moral compass, because of his ethics, like he refuses to. And that, like,
yeah.
I mean,
And
as
that's
a comic reader, that like infuriates you. Like, just kill him. Like, he's a crazy
yeah,
person.
yeah, 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 yeah. And that's the relationship between Batman and the Joker. And you see it, like you said, in Dark Knight. Like, I think there's a line that Joker says where it's basically like, "You can't kill me, and I can't kill you because you're just too much fun
Right.
to hang around with." Like,
Right.
he's like, "You can't kill me because of your moral compass, uh, and I won't kill you because you're just too much fun."
Right. Right.
It's like Joker knows that he's not gonna, overstep that boundary. So he pushes him. Every time Joker does something to Batman, he pushes him to the brink
Yeah.
and sees where he can, where that line is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, I'm pretty sure you read this, the comic Death of the Family, where Joker captures everyone.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, even there, like, he's just trying to draw out Batman, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, I got everyone. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What can I do to push you to that line, that brink?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And Batman's so mentally stable that he's still not gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Dude,
Like,
it's
there's
so the Joker, I would say, is probably the best villain in any of the comics. Like,
mm,
just
mm,
he's such a complex character that you can write all these different. He's just a fantastic
yeah,
character.
yeah,
In
no,
fact, one of the best Batman comics I've read this past year was I think it's called White Knight, where
yeah, they switch.
yeah, the Joker
Yeah,
like
they
becomes
switch.
sane and like
Yeah,
we
Batman
crusade
becomes
against that.
insane.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
great.
yeah. There's another comic that came out a couple of years ago, and it was when Batman took control of. Oh my gosh, it's escaping me. But basically, there's this chair that if you sit on it, then you basically know everything. Like, you can ask the chair like a question, and you'll automatically like know the answer. So
Huh.
when Batman sits on it, I'll look it up. I'll text it to you because
Okay.
I think you'll really enjoy it. When Batman sits on it, the the question he asks is, "Who's the Joker?" And then the chair says, "It's not just one Joker; it's three Jokers."
Oh
So,
man.
like, throughout, the 76, 77 years Batman has been with us,
Uh-huh.
um, there's been three Jokers
Hmm.
that have been terrorizing him. But
Interesting.
they haven't written about it because they just said there are three Jokers, and then they haven't gotten back to that story.
Right.
So
Just kind of dropping it and leaving it.
exactly, right? It's like you finally get the answer you want, but you don't get the answer you want. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
me and my good friend, we're still pretty upset about that, about how they just won't, like, because there's a new book coming out. It's called Joker War,
Uh-huh.
and I was actually at the comic shop the other day, and I was like, "Yo, like, so they can make another Joker arc, but they can't finish what they like what they just dropped. Like, they can't,
Yeah.
pick up where the three Jokers are." But
Yeah. So
being a Batman fan is very very stressful sometimes.
yeah. And I
Very
mean,
stressful.
bringing our conversation full circle,
Yeah.
It's teaching you patience.
Yeah. Right. It's like going on what, 4 years now. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, George, last question for you.
Yeah.
What are some things you've been doing during shelter in place to keep sane?
Man. Well, been working out. That's one of the things. Very. I find it very relaxing, even
Okay.
though, like, your heart rate is at a high pace.
Mhm.
I've also, like, I'm a gamer, so I've been playing a lot of games at night with my friends,
Mhm.
because that's the only way we could, like, hang out
Right.
in a way. And then I've also been, obviously spending time with Emily, my girlfriend,
Mhm.
and so before this whole thing happened, we were hanging out with a couple, Sam and Chelsea, who are really good friends, and so we've been hanging out with them. That's what I like to call my social bubble.
Mhm.
Um, so our social bubble. So every now and then we'll go over there. They'll come over here, and we'll just hang out, play games.
Mhm.
Um, just it's really crazy. I mean, we go out, but we have our mask on, obviously, and, like,
Right.
we hike. We hiked last week. We went to the city. I'm getting into photography now,
Mhm.
so I've been taking a lot of pictures, just trying to figure out new things to do so I
Yeah.
don't get bored of what I'm currently doing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. I'm in a similar vein. I mean, I've read a bunch of comic books. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I published my own, so
Nice, nice, nice.
yeah. So
You have to
I'm
send me a
so
copy.
and the 20 the show.
But I'm
Um,
sorry, say that again.
I got MLB the show 20.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice,
so
nice.
I've been playing a little bit of that, and
Yeah,
I ordered the collector's edition of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
of course you did. That's
Yep.
You're the first person I thought of when
Oh,
I saw that
I
trailer.
yep. I bought that so fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so and doing stuff like this is what's keeping me sane throughout quarantine, being able to talk to friends like you
yeah,
and you know get some content up on YouTube and all that stuff. So
yeah, man.
George, thanks so much for being here, man. I appreciate
No
you.
problem.
I appreciate you taking the time and yeah, just talking to us. And for everybody watching, thanks for joining us for episode 2 of Christ in Quarantine. My name is Pastor Jeff. I'm your host. And remember, theology doesn't always have to be difficult. It is simply the study of who God is. Take care. We'll see you next week.